for me. Done.
Vote for Pro Bowl. Text PRO to 7777 with your Sprint or Nextel service or vote at NFL.com.
Welcome to the Toyota Halftime Show, brought to you by Toyota, moving forward.
In New York with Sterling, Jerome, and Chris, I'm Bob. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from today, beginning in the NFC. We'll also check the playoff picture in each conference. So we'll roll it first from Carolina, where the Giants came in as losers of 4 in a row. But Eli Manning had a good day, no interceptions, 3 touchdown passes, including this one to Plexico Burress, covering 28 yards. The Giants beat the Panthers 27-13.
In Washington, Jeff Garcia continues his hot ways. This 60-yard pass to Reggie Bush is going to set up a Garcia to Dante Stallworth touchdown that would eventually make it 21-3. The Eagles go on to win it 21-19.
And they've taken 2 out of 3 now with Garcia as their quarterback since McNabb went out. These are the standings in the NFC East. Dallas, of course, we don't know the outcome of the game. We're going back there for the second half against the Saints. The Giants back in it, and Philadelphia at 7-6. Some people counted them out, but that's not the case. They're still alive.
In Tampa, injuries to Warwick Dunn and Jarius Norwood meant that Justin Griffith, the fullback, got a chance. Watch this move. Yeah, there you go. That one made it 14-6 Atlanta. Atlanta wins it 17-6 over Tampa.
Okay, in the NFC South, the Saints at 8-4 pending the outcome of the game in Dallas. Atlanta right back in it for a wild card and maybe for the division title. Carolina is hanging by a thread. In the NFC North, the Bears have the biggest lead, and in fact, they have clinched the biggest lead in any division. Minnesota still has a wild card chance because 6-7 doesn't eliminate you in the NFC.
Maybe the best game of the day in Arizona on 4th down and 20. Matt Hasselbeck is going to hit Deion Branch, who needs to get it to about the 6, and he comes up 1 yard short. Arizona holds on 27-21.
Seattle still with a comfortable lead in the NFC West, and St. Louis and San Francisco just about out of it. St. Louis plays at home tomorrow night against the Bears. The overall NFC playoff situation looks like this, beginning with the division leaders, and of course the Bears have already clinched. If the playoffs were to begin today, the wild cards would go to the Giants and the Eagles, and those on the bubble include the Falcons, the Vikings, the Panthers, and the Rams, if only barely. Okay, when we come back, we will switch conferences, breaking down the AFC playoff picture when the Toyota Halftime Show returns in less than a minute.
Charger fans are witnesses to history! Oh, that's all you got? You work it! You push it! This is the train, and these tracks do not stop for anything! Sitting here with Coach Ramsey, my former middle school football coach. Now you're here at Westlake High School. Coach, walk us through the play of the game.
I think the play of the game is when our quarterback, Nick Foles, ran for a touchdown, outstretched his arm. Ball magically did make it across the goal line, and it was called a touchdown.
Coach, I got to ask you, what was it like coaching John here back in the day?
We had a term back in Duncanville called attitude adjustment. 42. Are you going to talk in Miss Ziegler's class anymore, John?
No,
47.
Sir.
48. 49.
The results are in from our Player of the Day poll, and for the second Sunday in a row, a rookie running back takes the Golden Peacock. Maurice Jones-Drew out of UCLA and now with the Jaguars is the winner. Okay, on now to the AFC for highlights and the playoff picture. We'll begin in San Diego, where the Chargers clinched the AFC West and sent the reeling Broncos to their 4th consecutive defeat. LaDainian Tomlinson did it again, that time from a yard out, later from the 6, and then late in the 4th quarter, he scores for the 3rd time on the day from 7 yards out. 29th TD of the year through just 13 games, breaking the year-old record set by Sean Alexander of the Seahawks. He might, at this pace, wind up in the mid-30s. Just astonishing what LaDainian Tomlinson has done, and so do the standings in the AFC West. As we said, San Diego has clinched. Kansas City and Denver still clinging to wild-card hopes.
In Kansas City today, where the Chiefs rarely lose in the month of December, Steve McNair said, "You're losing today, guys," as he chunks this one 87 yards down the field. Mark Clayton goes in, and Baltimore knocks off the Chiefs 20-10.
and they are in control in the AFC North with an eye now toward possibly getting one of the top 2 seeds in the conference. If the season were to end today, Cincinnati would claim one of the wild card berths, and Pittsburgh is not yet mathematically eliminated.
How about the game in Jacksonville, and how about the game for Maurice Jones-Drew? 303 all-purpose yards, including this 48-yard touchdown, and Jacksonville blows off the Colts 44-17.
Indy has lost 3 out of 4, so they were once a shoo-in for a bye and home field advantage throughout. Now they're in a dogfight, not for the division, but for the top seed in the conference. Jacksonville would have one of the wild cards if the season ended today.
In New York, the Jets were supposed to have the easiest schedule, right? I don't think so. Taking on the Buffalo Bills, Nate Clemens going to pick off this pass from Chad Pennington. Returns it 58 yards for the touchdown, and Buffalo with the upset, 31-13 over the Jets.
So since the Pats lost at Miami today, the Jets could have moved to within a game of the top in the division had they won. They did not. So New England still has the 2-game lead, and the Jets are on the bubble when it comes to the wild card situation. There are your division leaders. Cincinnati and Jacksonville would have the wild cards. The Jets, the Chiefs, and the Broncos are hoping. Okay, as we bring in Jerome and Sterling, what about a sleeper team in either conference?
Well, in the NFC for me would be the Minnesota Vikings. I know you're saying Brad Johnson isn't playing well. He's not. But they have a good defense. They've got a great schedule the rest of the way. At home against the Jets, away at Green Bay, at home against St. Louis. Solid defense, a good rushing offense. I think they can still sneak in the playoffs.
Well, I think in the AFC, it has to be 6-7 Tennessee. And the reason I say that is Vince Young is extending drives, especially on third down with his legs, where he's carried the football 27 of his 69 carries on third down. Keep that offense on the field, and he's finding ways to win football games at the end. 3 straight come from behind wins.
And after an 0-5 start, they've won 6 of 8. Chris.
Come on, guys. The sleepers, the Dallas Cowboys. Did you watch the first half out there? What the heck is that? And Tony Romo is starting to get a little bit of a feel now of what it's going to be like to play for Bill Parcells when things aren't going so well. I bet you he's getting an earful at halftime.
Well, he's got a full half to turn it around. We'll see if he can as we go back to Al and John in Dallas after this break. And we'll see you next week.
This has been the Toyota Halftime Show, brought to you by Toyota, moving forward.
Thursday, it's an all-new holiday celebration.
I am going to roast this goose.
Why did you bring that here?
I accidentally ran over it. It's a Christmas miracle.
Starting with The Office at an early time, 8, 7 Central.
You know what that means?
Then on Scrubs, Turk and Carla's new family offers a tasty treat.
Are you hungry, sweetie?
I could eat.
And on 30 Rock, the worst words you can call a woman.
Fat can?
No.
Mouth hugger. Hatchet face.
No.
Thung dark.
It's all new, and it all happens Thursday on NBC.
This is the best time of the year, and it's only at your Toyota dealer. It's Toyotathon, the perfect time to save on many of the Toyotas you've been wishing for, including the luxurious new Avalon, an IntelliChoice Best Overall Value of the Year, or Toyota Camry, the just-announced 2007 Motor Trend Car of the Year, well-equipped at just $21,395. That's only $21,395 for a new Camry. The Toyotathon year-end sales event. Hurry, time is running out.
Extra, extra! Papa John's Superman Pan Pizza is here!
It's big news. Papa John's Superman Pan Pizza, piled high with the works. 7 tasty toppings. Call now or order online and get a large Superman Pan Pizza for $12.99. $12.99, including a $3 coupon for Superman Returns on DVD.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
I just can't say enough good things about Sterling people. They're quality people, and they're caring people. As a senior and having a need for the proper care in the medical field, they give me the answers I need, and they solve my problems for me. And I appreciate their help. It provides service and peace of mind, and they do it in an economical way. They're the kind of people that I want to do business with, and they're the kind of people that I intend to keep on doing business with.
We Are Marshall opens this week, a local connection after the game. NFL Network has two big games with playoff implications. Thursday Night Football heads to Seattle, where Sean Alexander leads the Seahawks against Frank Gore and the upstart Niners. Then on Saturday Night Football, the Cowboys make their first NFL Network appearance when they head to Atlanta to battle Michael Vick and the Falcons. It's a must-win for Atlanta, but they'll have to stop a Cowboys team that's on a roll. 49ers Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. Cowboys Falcons on Saturday Night Football. Two big nights, two big games. Catch them both on NFL Network.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
This game is big. You know, the stage for it is set. We want to win for the guy next to us, and I think it's a special bond and one that's helped us get to this point.
And if things aren't going the way you really want them to go, you make adjustments the second half. You don't come back out there and do the same thing and just force it and try to make it work.
As the game goes on, you see a lot of guys, a lot of teams mentally break down, and that can hurt you in the long run. So it's always a measuring stick when you're playing the number one offense in the league. We're playing well right now. They're playing well, and I think probably there's no better time for us to meet.
Well, some guys walk around and say, oh, this is a big one. We got to get this one. Well, you know what? You're right. And next week, as you win, they get bigger and bigger and bigger until you get to the ultimate big one.
And right now we come back to Texas Stadium, the NFC seeding situation at the moment. Bears play the Rams tomorrow night in St. Louis, 10-2 at the moment. Winner of this game would be the second seed because the Seahawks have lost. So the winner here goes to 9-4. The loser goes to 8-5. We're waiting for the smoke to clear. It's about I got to say, it's the stupidest thing in sports. There are pyrotechnics now with every pregame show, halftime show. It's doubly stupid in indoor arenas in the NBA and NHL. And this whole place was just full of smoke 2 minutes ago because of some garbage at halftime. And, you know, I'm going to say it once and hopefully I'm wrong, but it's a disaster waiting to happen. This is Miles Austin up past the 20 to the 28-yard line. We check in with Andrea, if you can see through the haze, Andrea.
Yeah, I can. And just an injury update for the Saints. Tight end Mark Campbell is questionable for his return. He has a left knee sprain, but wide receiver Marcus Colston has cramps, is expected to return. Now, remember, Sean Payton was Tony Romo's quarterback coach for 3 years here in Dallas, so I asked him what his defense has done that no one else has this season. He said they're doing a great job of keeping him in the pocket where he can't get outside and make his big plays.
And Tony Romo in that first half, 4 of 11 for 44 yards. Owens hasn't caught a pass. Glenn's caught 3. They give it to Jones, who had that 77-yard run, and that's been the extent of the Dallas offense up to the 31. Numbers through the first 30 minutes. Of course, it's dominated by the Saints, apart from that one run by Jones. Brees with 199 yards plus losing 7 on a sack, so 192 net passing and 2-1 time of possession.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the Saints had a great game plan, and they just kept the ball away from the Cowboys. And I think really the Cowboys are putting too much on Tony Romo. I mean, he's still a first-year quarterback, and I think that maybe he was anointed a little too soon where he can't take everything on his shoulders yet.
2nd and 7. Romo throws, and wide open is Glenn, his 4th catch of the night, and Glenn inside the 30, the 25 to the 20-yard line. They'll spot it at the 19. And the crowd has something to cheer about for the first time since the Jones touchdown run.
Yeah, and that's what they needed. I mean, they needed something to get him started. I mean, here you see Terry Glenn comes in motion, then he goes all the way back across the field where he started from. Again, Terrell Owens makes a pretty good block there for him because he hasn't caught any passes, so he figures I have to do something to contribute in this game. But before it's over, I think T.O. is going to be a pretty big part of it. I really do.
I do too. That's a 50-yard gain there. Julius Jones, gain of 3, taking it down to the 16-yard line.
Yeah, the Cowboys haven't had enough time of possession to even get to Marion Barber. You know, they have that 1-2 punch. Julius Jones runs, and then they bring in Marion Barber, and he does the running. And you know, they haven't had any continuity where they can do those things. And I'm sure that's what Bill Parcells talked about at halftime.
Romo, who had 44 passing yards before that 50-yarder to Glenn, rolling to his right where he's been dangerous, and finally hits Owens. So Owens makes his first catch of the night, steps out of bounds very close to the first down marker at the 9-yard line.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you have to do at halftime. You have to think, what can we do with them here? Start them on one side, bring them in motion, bring them across the field, get them on and out, do something to get him the ball. Change it. Just don't leave him in the same place all the time where the defense can just focus on it.
And that is a first down. They spotted at the 8-yard line. First and goal. Jones picks up 2. Julius to the 6. Second down.
So I'm sure this is the type of thing that the Cowboys really wanted to do all along, is not just pass and have an interception and turnover and let the Saints keep the ball. They wanted the time of possession. They wanted good mixture, get their run going, then they can do the play pass. Then Tony Romo can get outside the pocket and get in a rhythm of the game. Tony Romo in this Cowboy offense hasn't gotten into any rhythm yet tonight.
Second and goal. Rolling left against the grain, throwing back through the middle, incomplete. Tried to jam it in to Jason Witten. It'll be third and goal.
That's one thing that he can do. I mean, he can throw on the run as well as anyone, and it doesn't always have to be to his right. I mean, he can go left and turn and throw that ball like that with a lot of velocity. I think Tony Romo does this as well as anyone. Step up and throw the ball. And again, you say, well, it's a little away from Jason Witten, but it was also away from the defender. I mean, he put that ball where he had to.
Third down and goal from the 6. Empties the backfield out of the shotgun. 3 receivers to the left and 2 to the right. Looking right. Throwing. Incomplete, and lucky it wasn't picked off. That's Mike McKenzie, who had 2 interceptions last week. That pass intended for Patrick Creighton. So they get the 50-yard strike to Glenn. Then Owens makes his first catch. They have a first and goal, but have to settle for a Gramatica field goal attempt.
Yeah, and that's the one that he's going to kind of force in here. And you see Mike McKenzie, he has the position there. In fact, he runs a better pattern than the receiver Creighton does. And Creighton has to be more physical. The wide receivers, when you get down in the goal line, you have to be as physical as a linebacker.
24-yard attempt for Gramatica is good. So he misses one at the end of the first half, makes one here. The lead is 11. Saints on top, 21-10.
It's the season to wow, and our pledge is to help you wow them with gifts like an Xbox 360. Take gaming to the next level with a huge selection of high-def games.
And now get a $20 gift card when you buy an Xbox 360 with EA's Need for Speed Most Wanted. Only at Best Buy.
What is it you want, Barry? You want the moon? Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, Barry.
A gift from Kay Jewelers means every diamond is hand-selected to match beautifully.
Why don't you kiss her instead of talking at her, dead?
Every kiss begins with Kay.
How long is this thing? I don't know. Now, come on, get to the good stuff. Oh, stop. There it is. Oh, that's it. Wait, here it comes. Nice. Look at that. I can watch that all day. One more time? Sure.
Next Sunday night, the NFL's best backs come to flex. Larry Johnson and the Chiefs, LaDainian Tomlinson and the Chargers. It's an AFC West showdown on NBC.
NBC's Sunday Night Football is being brought to you by Nissan, inviting you to shift the way you move through the world. By Best Buy, wrap up the wow this holiday season only at Best Buy. And by McDonald's. Yum-E. No vegetables. Meat and potatoes. Ribs. I don't know where that is, John, but we're going right after the game.
Not bad.
Michael Lewis to run it back to the 27-yard line.
Drew Brees was something special in that first half. I mean, that was a ball handling one here. Again, you go play action pass, but look how quickly he gets off it and gets to his receiver. Here he just had great vision upfield, found Jones right there in the middle of his zone. And Roy Williams missed the tackle. But Drew Brees has put on quite a show in that first half, hasn't he?
From the 26. Brees throws, and it's Carney who played such a big role in the first half. Talked about Drew Brees before. Remember, San Diego wound up with Phillip Rivers as part of the Manning deal after the 2004 draft, and Rivers sat on the bench because Brees ascended and became a star in San Diego. And then it became a case of, what do you do with the Chargers? Well, it made it easier for the Chargers to elevate Rivers and give him the good deal and let Brees go, because Brees tore his labrum at the end of last season. Carney again, first down. And Johnny was talking last night about the recruiting trip. He went to Miami, but they were going to pass on him because of the shoulder. Instead, they opted for Dante Culpepper and his, reconstructed knee. And that's another story. But Brees goes there. And then Sean Payton, among other things, is taking him out for a tour of the town and gets lost.
Yeah. And he's showing him an area where he lived, and then he didn't know how to get back. And he was lost, but, he's the head coach. He's the captain of the ship. He doesn't want to tell Drew Brees and his wife, hey, I'm lost. So he calls Mickey Lewis, the general manager, and he starts getting directions. Oops.
And here's Bush. And the Heisman Trophy winner off to the races again inside the 20. Cuts it back. Touchdown. Anthony Henry had the angle on him, and Bush made it look so simple. Just cutting to his right. Touchdown, Saints.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Reggie Bush is making this whole league look too simple, Al. And when he does that, I know what Bill Parcells is thinking. Here he is, he's in the backfield, and he just throws him on a little screen out there. A good block there, a pretty good block there, but the rest is Reggie Bush. He runs out of a tackle there, makes a move on two guys right there. Boy, is he fun to watch, isn't he?
He's fun to watch for every fan, except if you're a fan of the Houston Texans. And every Texan fan has to be saying, what in the hell did we do after the draft?
Hey, I want this guy on my team. If I have first pick, I'm picking Reggie Bush. I don't even know what the game is.
Wow. Here's Carney for the point after. Well, 4 touchdowns last week. On the board tonight. The Saints, I guess they are for real. 28-10.
I've been to Newark, Hackensack, 3 meetings back-to-back.
Conference in Maine, put faces to names.
Seminar, Lombard, big stack of business cards.
Stayed at Comfort Suites, got a hot breakfast free.
Warehouse, inventory, Foreman had a funny story.
Big meeting, New Rochelle, told my boss, all went well.
This fall, stay at any Comfort Inn, Comfort Suites, Quality Inn, Sleep Inn, or Clarion Hotel. After 2 separate stays, you'll earn a free night with Choice Privileges. For reservations, visit choicehotels.com. Choice Hotels. We'll see you there.
Got Singular?
No, Sprint.
Sprint mobile broadband downloads 5 times faster than Singular's Edge.
Well, I'm done.
Because in business, it pays to keep moving. Get the power of the nation's largest mobile broadband network. Get a free mobile broadband card. Visit sprint.com/mobile broadband. Sprint. Power up.
Give
ever feel that something's wrong with the universe?
6 Feet Under's Peter Crossa.
What happened in that motel room?
Emmy Award winner Juliana Margulies.
Since you found the key, has your life gotten better or worse?
The Lost Room, a Sci-Fi Channel miniseries event, premieres this week.
Reggie Bush just 4 away from breaking that mark. Barring injury, he'll go well past Earl Cooper, who caught 83 as a rookie running back with the 49ers in 1980, the year before they began their great run. But Bush is on a pace to get into triple figures. Of course, he also runs the ball about 10 times a game normally, or a little bit more. Tonight he's only carried 3 times.
Just look, he's a fun guy. He's a bright-eyed guy with, that's just full of life and energy, and I think he's fun for everyone to be around.
Miles Austin to run it back, and again a good run back for him to the 38. And we're reading a story today about Reggie Bush's jersey sales, #1 in the NFL right now. Let's go to Andrea.
I'm going to go buy one.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you Bill Parcells is not going to go buy one because he has had a stunned look on his face on the sideline, and he was stunned when he talked to me at halftime. He said, we took a bad beating in the first half. We have to take our time and be patient. Of course, this is before that Bush touchdown. And he completely scoffed at any notion that Sean Payton's familiarity with Tony Romo is why they were playing such good defense on him.
Well, you go back to, Romo and Payton with the Eastern Illinois connection, and Sean, his position coach here over the last 3 years. Romo off the play fake, throwing, caught by Glenn at the 42 of New Orleans, and he takes it to the 35. Fujita stops him there, and there'll be a little more alacrity to this Dallas attack now as they get up and huddle up.
Yeah, I just got a feeling that the Dallas Cowboy offense just never got started. I don't know. I mean, there was great defense. I think there was, time of possession. They didn't have the ball, and then when they did have it, they didn't get anything going quickly, and I think they kind of got away from their running game, and they got away from mixture and all those rhythm things you need.
Here's Barber, who's been such a big part of that running game recently, but tonight he's been limited to next to nothing. Tackled there by Fujita. Barber has become the guy who's seen the brunt of the ball carrying of late. He's seeing more action, Jones less, but tonight Jones has carried 10 times, and that's Barber's first tote.
And Barber's a guy that usually, goes north and south, takes the ball, hits it in there quickly, is, a tough type of runner, and he runs a lot of those third down draws too, so I think that's one of the reasons he's going to have a better average.
2nd down and 11. Romo buys time, has to check off underneath, caught Witten, tackled there by Grant, the defensive end, covering the tight end. Short gain. 3rd and 8 upcoming.
You look in the first half at Terrell Owens and Fred Thomas. I thought they were going to work on Fred Thomas, and they started to it, but he's done a good job on Terrell Owens. I mean, you see the coverage here, and you say, why haven't they thrown to Terrell Owens? Well, Fred Thomas is covering him pretty well.
Yeah, Fred Thomas is a guy who's been picked on a lot of late. The 5'9", 185-pound, 11th year cornerback. Gives away about 6 inches to Owens.
I think they have to get to the inside and crossing stuff. That's where this defense is vulnerable.
3rd and 8, and that pass may have been deflected. That is incomplete. And it is 4th down. Antoine Lake, the tackle, put the pressure on that time.
Tony Romo saying he wants to go for it here, and looks like Bill Parcells says, okay. And like I was saying, they had trouble just keeping their wide receivers outside and getting up the field, and the success they've had are those dig routes or those deep ins or crosses. And I think if they have to come up with a play now, it should be one of those crosses or deep ins.
Yeah, 18-point deficit, mid-3rd quarter. If you miss a field goal, 52 yards, you give them the ball at the 42, you might as well go for it. 4th down and 8. Romo stepping away from pressure, throws, and that's caught by Owens. What a break for the Cowboys on what should have been an interception. It looked like a Fred Thomas pick. At least if he knocks it down, it's 4th down, and they turn it over on downs. Instead, it's an early Christmas gift for number 81.
I was just talking about the deep ends, and you're going to see Terrell Owens right up here, and this is a deep end. He starts there, and he's coming in. Tony Romo throws the ball, but he throws it right to Fred Thomas. And I noticed that In fact, that was a double cover right there.
Thomas has a thumb injury, and you can see that right thumb is wrapped. Couldn't make the pick, couldn't knock it down, and Dallas gets back in the game, 28-17.
How long is this thing? I don't know. Come on, get to the good stuff. Oh, stop. There it is. Oh, that's it. Wait. Here it comes. Nice. Look at that. I can watch that all day. One more time? Sure.
Tender, juicy chicken breast. Crispy bacon. Creamy ranch. The Ranch BLT Premium Chicken Sandwich. Only at McDonald's. So good, it's almost embarrassing.
Coach, would you agree it's a little hot in here for a mock turtleneck?
I wouldn't disagree with it.
Coach, my buddies tell me when it's this hot, nothing's more refreshing than a cold Coors Light.
You know something? They're right sometimes. More often than not, they're right.
Coach, doesn't this guy's hat look awesome backwards?
A lot of guys might not have reversed that.
Taste the cold of Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Did your place kicker make this onion dip?
It didn't look like he made it from where we were standing.
One of these three strangers is the world's fastest man. One of these three is a fire eater. Can you tell which one is which just by looking at them? Identity, a week-long event begins Monday in 1 week on NBC.
Fred Thomas distraught on the sideline because he had a chance to pick it off, at least knock it down. Instead, the deflection goes into the hands of Owens. Talked about that thumb injury, and that was severe enough to keep him out of the game against Pittsburgh on the 12th of November. He does not have an interception this season, and the Cowboys have turned it into an 11-point game. Michael Lewis to run it back. Lewis up past the 30, coming back from knee surgery last year up to the 38-yard line, and we go back to the touchdown pass.
You know, and that shot we saw of Fred Thomas, it looks like he has a cast on that thumb, and the ball went right through his hands, and you know, it's tough, and you can see, you know, he's saying, how in the heck did that thing get through there? But it's tough to play when you have a cast on your hand. But I tell you, his coverage has been pretty good against Terrell Owens, and again, that was a place they had to go, I thought, you know, on the end of the cross, and they went on the end, and Fred Thomas ran it as well as Terrell Owens did.
Speaking of hand injuries, we were here the second week of the season when Owens broke a finger and had surgery. It didn't cost him any time.
Right, he has plates in his hand.
Yep. He had an off week, and he was able to come back the following week. Ball is at the 38-yard line. A little toss. Deuce McAllister runs right through the middle. Some tough running inside up to the 45-yard line. Tackled by Aiken Adele.
The one thing the Cowboys have to be thinking about now is getting some pass rush on first and second down. And maybe doing that, maybe they widen their ends a little, and then maybe that opens up the inside run for Deuce McAllister. Because I know, you know, they have to talk about it at halftime. You know, we have to get to Drew Brees. We have to put pressure on him. We have to get to him on first and second down. They haven't been doing that.
Deuce again. Stop him a little short of the first down. Or did they? No, they're going to spot it at the 48. They give him a nice little spot there. That's nice enough for a first down.
You know, I like the combination that Sean Payton has here. You know, the way, you know, he'll run Deuce McAllister inside, you know, and then he'll get the ball to Reggie Bush outside. Then you forget about his fullback, Mike Karney, and he'll give him a run or you'll throw him the ball in the flat. And to me, it's a great mixture along with your wide receiver.
There goes Bush in motion to fake to McAllister. The fake to Bush. The deep pass is caught on the run by Devery Henderson, and he takes it inside the 5-yard line. On targets more than 30 yards from the line of scrimmage this season, Brees is now 10 out of 13.
Yeah,
that's good for 50 yards.
What a play action that is when you can fake to McAllister, then you can fake to Reggie Bush, and then you can throw the ball to your speed guy Henderson all the way across the field.
And Roy Williams nearly horse columns him at the end. But there's no flag, and it'll be 1st and goal at the 2.
And Drew Brees put that one in there perfectly.
And they give it to McAllister. And he is stopped just short of the goal line. 2nd down and goal. Boy, I tell you, Peyton has done a fabulous job of play calling tonight.
Yeah, right. He's really kept this Dallas Cowboy defense off balance. You know, when they think he's going to run, he fakes a run and throws. When they think he's going to throw, he runs. When they think it's going to be a tailback, he gives it to the fullback. And the Cowboy defense has been on their heels the whole game.
And there goes Deuce for the touchdown.
I think Deuce learned that from Reggie Bush. We were talking to him last night about it, and he said, yeah, he jumps a lot. He says most guys don't do that.
2nd down.
Now, there was a whistle before the play, which nobody heard, and Jerry Austin comes in and signals, I assume, a false start.
Yeah, I would assume with you a false start or not. Yeah, that's what I would assume.
Didn't hear the whistle, never heard the announcement. It's going to be an illegal substitution is what they're telling us that he said. Even upstairs in the replay booth, we're checking with them. They don't know what the call was. 2nd and goal. Brees throws. Carney again, and he is taken out of bounds. He's already scored twice tonight. He signals touchdown for a guy who'd never had one in his career, but he's well short of it. A yard anyway.
Well, Carney knows the rule that the goal line goes around the world, so the ball doesn't have to be inside that pylon, and that's what he was trying to say, that I broke the plane of the goal line even though it was outside. Well, I don't know. That was pretty close, wasn't it?
Very close. By the way, the penalty was on Zach Strief, who did not report as an eligible receiver at the end of the line. Meanwhile, Peyton is out on the field. And now he knows the guys are upstairs are telling him you might want to challenge this call. And that's what it will be. He's going to challenge it to see if it's a touchdown.
Stuck in the middle with you. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Yes,
Introducing Wendy's Double Melt. In the middle of 2 hot and juicy fresh ground beef patties is a slice of pepper jack, cheddar sauce, bacon, and jalapenos. And now with every Double Melt, receive $1 on a reloadable gift card.
Oh, that's okay. I like the middle.
For flavor where it counts, do what tastes right.
The hottest gift of the season. Get an XM radio and 3-month service for under $99. 170 channels to turn your holidays on. XM. Terms and conditions apply.
I think I want to, do something.
Like what?
Fight.
People are going to think you're going crazy.
If 2 athletes from different eras could actually compete against one another, who would come out on top?
Then you don't have to do it.
Yeah, well, I think I do.
On December 20th,
It's been a long time since I've seen a fight.
the only way to get respect is to earn it.
There's nothing more to prove, Pop.
Rocky Balboa.
I gotta go out the way I gotta go.
Rated PG. In theaters everywhere, Wednesday, December 20th.
The lights are bright. It's time to go now.
Flex Game 6, Chiefs, Chargers, LJ versus LT. A fantasy matchup as the league's top rushers square off.
There's no looking back.
Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Wendy's. Get in the middle of flavor. Do Wendy's new double melt. Do what tastes right.
The runner is inbounds and touches the pylon with the ball. Touchdown.
So the challenge is successful, And I guess Carney does know about the goal line. For a guy who hadn't scored in his career, now 44 games old, he has the hat trick tonight.
Yeah, see, as long as his feet and his body are inbounds, the ball, when it crosses a plane, does not have to be inbounds. The pylon is out of bounds, but as we say, the goal line goes around the world. So it's just extended.
As long as he crosses the goal line before he is down, no matter where the ball is, and you can wave your empty hand over it and have the ball well out of bounds in effect, it's still a touchdown.
Right, as long as your body's inbound.
Carney for the point after. What were the odds that this guy would score 3 touchdowns tonight? 20 million to 1? 35-17.
I've been really good this year, and the only thing I want is one of those amazing phones.
Well, Timmy, do you mean VCast phones?
The NV plays VCast video, and its full keyboard makes it great for texting.
And the mint chocolate's perfect for music lovers. It's got an MP3 player.
You know, I'm working here.
Only Verizon Wireless has the gifts you want, like the hottest LG VCast phones. Now get these 2 fully loaded phones for just $49.99. Happy holidays from the network.
You think you got game machine? All right, let's see what you got.
Come on, breathe. Come on, breathe. Pick him up, pick him up.
Live NFL. Drink Diet Pepsi.
I can do this all day, baby.
I think I've had a really good life. I do. This was the best family vacation. I still have those cowboy boots. I love my dog Curtis. He's like a tiny person. I think that was one of my biggest bubbles. When it popped, I had a big bubblegum beard. I don't think I would remember anything at all if I didn't have pictures.
The fast, easy HP PhotoSmart printer. The real gift is what it prints.
Tuesday. If you haven't seen the most critically acclaimed new drama on television, now's the time.
Ladies, I'm not going to start seeing her. If I don't want you seeing my daughter, you're not going to see my daughter.
All new Friday Night Lights, Tuesday on NBC.
Sunday Night Football brought to you by Wendy's. Get in the middle of flavor. Do Wendy's new double melt and do what tastes right. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrew Kramer, Irving, Texas. The Saints up 35-17 and an onside kick attempt here. Does it go 10 yards as it was Billy Cundiff who kicks? It has to go 10 yards before the kicking team touches the ball. Jay Bellamy winds up with it. And the officials have yet to signal who has possession.
I'll tell you, the old pupil's trying to run it in on the teacher, isn't he?
The kickers touched the ball after it had gone 10 yards and recovered it. It will be a New Orleans ball, 1st and 10.
You bet. Yeah, nobody touches it until it gets past the 40-yard line. Once it reaches the 40, then a Saint can touch it, which they do. It goes off somebody's foot, and then it's collected there by Bellamy. And, boy, I'm telling you.
Yeah, 35-17, and you go for an onside kick. That's a gutsy call. Sean Payton has made a couple of them tonight. That, 4th and 1 and a reverse, and then an onside kick here.
Marcus Colston is the receiver here.
Or maybe he knows that right now he has a momentum, and there's no way that he's going to give it to Parcells. He has it, and he says, we got it, we have everything going, and we're going to keep it. We're going to onside kick, and we're going to keep going here.
Sean Payton is coaching in his 13th NFL game. I don't know that I've seen a better coached game to this point in a long time.
No, and he's that great mixture and great play calling, and of course he has the guy there pulling the trigger that's pretty good in Drew Brees tonight.
2nd down and 5, and that's incomplete. But what we knew about the Saints coming in, you knew about Brees, you knew about Bush. Okay, McAllister is sort of a proven commodity. You knew about Joe Horn. He's not even here tonight. Okay, Colston, a 7th-round draft choice. He was hurt, but he's playing. But how about Mike Karney, Jamal Jones? Those guys have scored 4 touchdowns between them. Who are they?
But that's the thing. Once you get it going, and once you play calling, and you get it rolling, and you're going to spread the ball around, and you have a real bright quarterback, you can do those kinds of things.
3rd down and 5. Brees underneath. This is Billy Miller, the tight end. Might as well get everybody into the act. Billy Miller playing because Mark Campbell, the starting tight end, got hurt. And the Saints, among other things, working through a number of injuries. Ernie Conwell, the number 1 tight end, he's hurt. He's out. Then they lose Campbell tonight. Then Miller comes in.
But isn't this something, this Saint team? I mean, they go, from a feel-good story. They win a few games. They're 8-4. They come in here to Dallas to, everyone thought Dallas, coming in is probably the best team in the NFC. And if these guys come out, they're not a feel-good story anymore.
No. 1st and 10. Well, they're a feel-good plus. And that is caught by Henderson in between 2 Cowboys. And before they can touch him, he's into the end zone for a touchdown.
Devery Henderson, he's their big play guy. All those guys you mentioned. And then, Henderson is the guy, if you're going to get a deep one, you try and get him the ball deep. Sean Payton is thinking right now, it all worked. I score a touchdown, I go for an onside kick, I get that, and then I get the big play.
Drew Brees has thrown for 384 yards. He's a Texas kid. He grew up in Austin. He led his team to the state championship in this stadium 10 years ago. He is used to Friday night lights. Tonight it is Sunday night lights out. What a performance.
Yeah, that was a great pass by Drew Brees against the cover 2.
John Carney for the point after. And with 3:47 left in the 3rd quarter, the number 1 offense in the league has rolled up 42 points on the Dallas Cowboys.
We're going to see, here's what it looks like. Here's Henderson right here. Now we're going to get a cover 2 where the corner comes up and hits here. The safety comes over. Drew Brees is going to hit him right in the hole, right in front of the safety, behind the corner. There's a window right in here. And you watch Henderson down here in the bottom. He gets by the first guy. See the window right there? Drew Brees hits him perfectly before Keith Davis, the safety, can get over there. Here's the route. You see, right up there, Henry is trying to hit him, and then he gets away from that. Then he comes under control a little because he knows that the next guy is going to be the safety coming over, Keith Davis. And that was a heck of a throw by Drew Brees, but that was a good route by Henderson and getting away from Anthony Henry and then finding that hole, coming under control a little in that hole.
Drew Brees had shoulder surgery in January, 4-month rehab in Alabama, had it done by the noted surgeon James Andrews, and his in-laws live in Alabama, so he was able to get down there and stay down there for the rehab. Miles Austin to run this back. And he loses the football, but it's picked up by Elam. And Abram Elam is tackled at the 33-yard line. Coming into tonight, Romo was 1st, Brees was 4th. There'll be a big change after the game here because 158 and change is a perfect rating, so Brees is 146.3. And Romo, 73.8, and a lot of that is that 50-yard pass to Glenn.
Drew Brees has been close to perfect tonight. I mean, he's hit the short ones, he's hit the medium ones, he's hit the deep ones. He's done everything to a defense you can do.
The 10 different receivers. Romo's going to launch one. There's a flag down, and Owens will draw another flag because that was Thomas again, who appeared to be beaten on the play. So you have a flag down all the way upfield near the 50-yard line, and then a flag came in at the end of the play. 2 separate issues here.
And that's kind of what we thought, that the Cowboys would do is work on Fred Thomas over there with Terrell Owens. And I still think the thing that they have to do rather than those ups are just running straight up the field because Fred Thomas has covered those well.
On the defense, cornerback, it's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
But again, I think they have to. The only thing that they called is illegal contact here. He's past 5 yards now. He can't touch him. He gets his arm in there. That's what they called there. And then they didn't call pass interference there, obviously.
He threw the flag right there.
I thought he did too.
That's what I'm confused about.
And he can't. If he threw the flag back there at that time, that had to be pass interference. Because the first one had to be hitting him after 5 yards, and we saw that. Then the second flag would have been pass interference, and of course the ball would be right there where the pass interference occurred.
You assume. Now they're telling us they decided there was no pass interference. So despite the flag being thrown, it was picked up. Okay. Everything's after the fact with this crew tonight. On 1st and 10. Again for Owens. And Thomas is right with him.
Yeah, I know what they're trying to do, and I keep going back that Thomas is covering that well. Okay, you've proved, we're trying to get the ball to Owens. We're trying to take a shot to him. We're trying to get it to him deep, but you don't have to just run up the field with him. I think the place to run with Owens is maybe bring him in motion, maybe bring him across the field on a deep crossing pattern, or again going back to that deep end, because they've proven right now that they can't just put him out there and run it up on him.
2nd and 10 now from the 37-yard line. Romo over the middle, and that is caught by Glenn right in the middle of traffic, and he knew he was going to get popped, and Fred Thomas makes the tackle, and that will be enough for a first down.
Yeah, and that was the deep end to Terry Glenn, and they had Terrell Owens in the slot on that one, and he ran an in also. In fact, he was wide open, so he had an in from the outside receiver right there, Terry Glenn, and just inside of him, also running an in pattern, was Terrell Owens.
That's good for 18 yards. Glenn with 6 catches tonight. Romo has only 10 completions. Owens has caught 2. Now Jones. And Jones should have enough for a first down before he gets slammed out of bounds by Josh Bullocks.
One of the things that this Saint defense wanted to do, and they've done an excellent job, is to keep Tony Romo in the pocket. I mean, he's pretty efficient in the pocket, but he's really deadly when he'd get outside. And they've had great containment on him. I mean, they made him, just throw from rhythm, stay in the pocket, not let him get out and buy extra time, because when he gets out and buys extra time, that's when his wide receivers are a lot better.
And who would know that better than Sean Payton, who worked with him every day for 3 years. 1st and 10. To the outside, and Glenn gets free and makes the catch at the 19-yard line. He's tackled there by Jason Kraft. Out of the pocket, and they do keep numbers on that as well as everything else. He's the highest rated passer coming into the game in the league when you get him outside the pocket. So he's number 1 outside the pocket. Brees is number 1 out of the shotgun.
Right, and I think that's, the Saint defense realized that, and I think their defensive ends and tackles pushing up the middle have done a good job of not letting Romo outside.
From the pocket, he throws. Witten makes the catch. Witten breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet, and then plunges forward to about the 12-yard line.
I think Tony Romo is asking if he could go no huddle. He was signaling over in the sideline that he just wanted to line up on the line of scrimmage. What he's doing here, Cowboys going no huddle.
2nd and 5 at the 13-yard line. A minute to play in the 3rd. Hit as he throws from behind. That pass is incomplete, looking toward Glenn. Brian Young made contact with him as he releases it. 3rd down and 5.
I think we were talking to Gary Gibbs, the defensive coordinator of the Saints, and he was talking about Brian Young as being his most consistent guy, and you see how they're keeping him in the pocket. The ends are getting up the field, not letting him out there, and then they get the push from the tackle, that time being Brian Young, right in Tony Romo's face.
5. You have Marion Barber, the back here on 3rd down. Flag will be against the Saints, or a timeout was called. Timeout was called.
It will be
just
a 30-second
before
timeout.
The snap. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, we've been singing the praises quite a bit of Sean Payton, so before the game I talked to Mickey Loomis, the Saints general manager. I wanted to know how he even found out about him. He said his name was out there, but he was telling me that the league, the NFL, keeps a half-an-hour interview on file of prospective head coaching candidates. So in early January, he got DVDs of about 30 or 40 assistant coaches. They're all asked the same questions. What Loomis told me he was most impressed with Sean was not so much what he said, but how he presented it. Loomis also said that what was important to him is that he'd actually worked for Bill Parcells. He wanted a guy who had a firm hand, and he liked that in Sean Payton. But I don't know, what do you think, guys? This mentor relationship, how long do you think that's going to last? Bill's got a pretty long memory for blowouts like this.
Well, I think Bill's going to be upset with his team if they don't win here. I mean, they haven't been very sharp. If they're going to do something, they have to stop them, and their defense has to play a lot better, and they have to tackle a lot better than they did tonight.
3rd down and 5, and now Romo's going to take a timeout. So they have a play call. He looked at that defensive alignment, didn't like what he saw, and in a game in which he's already trailing by 25, he has to burn a 3rd quarter timeout. Next week, we head west. We go to San Diego, the Chargers, and a lot of people think they are the best team in the league right now. We know LaDainian Tomlinson has had an unbelievable season, and they will take on the Kansas City Chiefs. He set a touchdown record today. Did Tomlinson, 29, that eclipsed the mark set by Sean Alexander last year, and he's going to break Paul Hornung's scoring record, which has stood for decades. Maybe next week. 1960 is when the former Golden Domers set it. He's 2 points away from tying it. 3rd down and 5 now after the timeout. They spread them out. And Romo's going to throw a fade into the end zone, and Glenn is there and is out of bounds. Couldn't come down in the end zone, and you have a flag down back at the 17-yard line.
That signal was for illegal chop. And I don't know what those other signals are.
We have an illegal chop block, number 65 and 62. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So you had Gerard and Rivera, the center and the right guard.
Yeah, it's going to be right here and right here. And again, if one blocker is engaged, then the other guy can't hit him. That's what it is. Now, Rivera cuts him, which is okay. He can do that, but then Gerard comes over the top, which he can't do.
And so it's 4th down. If we get about a field goal with this deficit, 4th down and 5 from the 13-yard line. Their last touchdown came on a 4th down play. Can they do it again? No. Glenn covered by Thomas, and another penalty. Flag down at the 13-yard line.
I think that was against the Saints, Al. I think they jumped, which will be awfully close to a 1st down.
Outside, number 68 of the defense.
So it's 4th and 5.
The result of a penalty.
I know. Well, I was
boy.
thinking the same thing Austin was thinking. I was looking at that and saying, well, the 5 yards give him a 1st down.
Yeah, the result of the penalty may be a measurement.
The result of the penalty will leave the ball approximately 3 inches short.
How do you say that? How do you know that? That's impossible to know.
He gave the international signal just before that, as I have no idea what it is.
I know. Well, if it's 3 inches short, how do you know it's 5 yards and 3 inches? Okay. I give up. Okay. So it was 4th down and 5 yards and 3 inches.
Well, if you need 3 inches, that's a quarterback sneak play. And I think Tony Romo would just keep this one.
Now you're going to have a false start against Dallas, so you're back to 4th and 5 and 3 inches.
False start. 63 offense. 5 yards. It's still 4th down.
The way this game is being called tonight, if you had an offside here against New Orleans, you'd probably give Dallas a first down.
But you wonder why Dallas was going through all that. I would just think you need 3 inches. You just snap the ball and just fall down and get your first down on a quarterback sneak, and then go back to work from there with a new set of downs.
4th and 5. Final minute of the 3rd. Romo. And has that one picked off in the end zone. That's picked off by Jason Kraft on a pass intended for Witten.
If Jason Kraft is a nickel back, the Saints were in 5 defensive backs, and of course when they got that 4th and 5, then they went to nickel with the extra defensive back, and you'll see Kraft is just going to come and undercut it. You see, he was going to, instead of leaving Jason Witten, on the top of him, he just came right underneath in front of him. Because he figures, that he's in the end zone. You don't have to cover him all the way through the end line. So right him. See how he just comes in there with Witten and then just undercuts it. Which is the play, which is the thing that you would do there.
From the 21-yard line on 1st down, Deuce McAllister up to the 26-yard line.
There can be some booze in there with that Deuce.
Yeah, you're right. It is a very mixed reception. He will not have to run another play here. First time a Cowboys opponent has had 5 touchdown passes in a game in Big D, going back to the Cotton Bowl years, 47 seasons. So they'll change ends here. It's the end of the 3rd quarter. The New Orleans Saints trying to go to 9-4 with 42 points. The Dallas Cowboys, who've won 4 straight, 17. And Sunday Night Football is back after these messages from your local NBC station.
Thursday, an all-new office so huge we made it an hour.
Are we taking this too far?
Critics call it the gift that keeps on giving.
I don't think we're taking this far enough.
The one you won't want to miss.
I got goosebumps.
Get there early. An all-new office, 8, 7 Central on NBC.
I know you weren't expecting this, but I just couldn't wait any longer. I want you to have this now. Open it. Yes, it's a lucky quarter for these Kentucky Lottery scratch-off tickets.
Looking for that perfect holiday gift? Try Kentucky Lottery scratch-offs. They're fun to give, fun to receive, perfect for everyone, whatever the occasion.
You have made me the happiest girl in the world.
Play Kentucky Lottery scratch-offs and put a little play in your holiday.
When's it gonna start? I'll be here any minute.
It's that time of year again, when you'll find exceptional values on your favorite Lexus vehicles. See Lexus of Louisville.
If all the flat panel TVs that H.H. Gregg has in stock were set side by side, you'd have to run the length of a football field to see them all. Or you could run into H.H. Gregg. More flat panel TVs, better prices. H.H. Gregg. Go team.
Football's exciting, but he didn't have to pass out. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry.
We Are Marshall opens this week, a local connection after the game.
everything I could, ask for, in a quarterback. My rookie year, he's a great quarterback. He's almost like having a coach in the huddle because he's so fundamentally sound at the same time. A guy who's a great competitor and, a guy who wants to win. He's a winner.
And as we come back to action in the fourth quarter, Brees' pass is incomplete. Bobby Carpenter, the Dallas linebacker, put the pressure on him, and that makes it 3rd down and 4.
One group that's done an outstanding job tonight is this Saint offensive line. Talking to Deuce McAllister last night, he said the biggest surprise to him was how well this offensive line's playing. He said, they're just kind of a bunch of guys that they put together. Jamal Brown was a right tackle. They moved him into left tackle. They got Jeff Fain from Cleveland. Jari Evans, the right guard, is a rookie. And he said, he didn't expect them to play as well as they have. And, all the surprises, within this New Orleans Saints team. And here the biggest surprise to McAllister is the offensive line.
Timeout, Saints.
Of downhill assist control. The RAV4 from Toyota.
I've never even seen this thing before. Did you see how fast I did that?
Like when things are real easy?
I'm like the king of that thing.
You're going to love what we've done to retirement planning. It's called My Plan from Fidelity. Retirement planning made easy. Smart move.
This is the story of Steve and Mike. Steve got Sirius satellite radio with over 130 channels. Mike chose regular radio with only a few stations and commercials. Steve got all kinds of music with no commercials. Mike got more commercials. Steve got every NFL game. Mike got angry. Steve got comedy. Mike got angrier. Steve was happy even in traffic. Mike, we're guessing, will finally change his radio. Now get a radio and 3-month subscription for less than $99. Say yes to Sirius, the best radio on radio.
Sunday Night Football brought to you by Toyota, moving forward. By Sirius, hear every NFL game on Sirius Satellite Radio, the best radio on radio. And by Sprint, be a better fan with NFL Mobile, only from Sprint. Power up. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Sirius Satellite Radio. Downtown Big D. Back to Irving we come. 3rd down and 4 after the Saints took a timeout. Brees will sling it out to Bush. And that pass is incomplete, so they took a timeout. Run that play. And one of the few things that haven't worked tonight for the Saints, who had scored touchdowns on their last 4 possessions.
That's what you need in a quarterback like, Drew Brees. He's so efficient. He hasn't made any mistakes. He hasn't forced anything. And when he does throw one awry like that, all it is 4th down and you punt.
Steve Weatherford to kick. Terrence Newman backpedaling. 23-yard line. Now past the 40. Terrence Newman down the sideline. And is finally forced out of bounds near midfield by the punter, Weatherford. And now there's another flag down on the sideline. By the way, we have solved the 5-yard and 3-inch mystery. I'll get to that in a second, John.
Oh, you got the
yep.
You got the mystery solved.
But
huh?
we're gonna
keep it
during
to
the
yourself.
return, illegal block from behind by the return team. 10 yards, 1st down.
I'm just going to have you wait till the other side of the commercial. Just a little bit of a tease, but we have the answer. The mystery has been solved. 42-17, New Orleans.
Hurry
into a Sprint store and start your holiday shopping early. Choose from our newest lineup of slim, stylish phones so you can take care of everyone on your holiday gift list. Pick up the red Moto Razr and you can get powerful features like live TV, wireless music downloads, GPS, and the power to give back. Because when you purchase the red Moto Razr at a Sprint store, a contribution will be made to help eliminate AIDS in Africa. The power to give the ultimate gift. Sprint. Power up.
Let go of the day. Go Outback tonight. For the steak is thick and juicy, the shrimp sweet.
Let's go Outback tonight.
Let go.
Life will still be there tomorrow.
Go Outback.
Find the perfect gift. Shop Wednesday at Zale's one-day holiday sale. Save an extra 10% off store-wide this Wednesday only. Find the perfect gift at Zale's, the Diamond Store.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And buy a PC.
What?
Well, I know you like to just hang out when we're together, but fact is you're selling like hotcakes now, and I got to get my message out. So I'm doing a little buzz marketing for old PC, the only computer you'll ever need. Okay. If you act now,
PC,
throw in a
why are you
mouse
doing
pad.
this? This is ridiculous.
Well, look, I chart these buying trends, and people seem to be falling for your whole iLife thing, so I got to pull out all the stops. Supplies are limited. Operators are standing by.
It's very subtle.
Buy a PC. Buy a PC.
Tomorrow on Deal, there's drama, money, and the one case that could change their lives forever. Deal or No Deal, tomorrow on NBC.
Mystery solved, John. There's the down box. The chain is marked at what they say is exactly 5 yards. And then Jerry Austin was able to say they're 3 inches shy because the down box before that play was 3 inches behind the 5-yard mark as Romo throws incomplete. So live and learn. They marked the chain at exactly 5 yards, and then with the down box behind it, that's how Austin was able to come up with they need 3 inches.
Where did you come up with that's how Austin came up with it? Because I don't know that Austin did, because I looked. You know, he gave that universal international look, you know, like,
oh yeah, like
this one here, like I don't know.
We've seen that
before he did that.
We've seen that look before.
Yeah.
But we have discovered upon research that took us to to Nairobi and beyond that they marked the chains at the 5-yard mark. 2nd and 10. Romo going deep. And Terrell Owens over his shoulder could not haul it in. And ain't saying deuce.
Oh, not now. I mean, that's the one they've been trying to get Terrell Owens deep on this side. Again, it's a nickel thing here, and that's a pretty good deal to give a double move. They give a double move, and he's expecting the ball up in the outside. He's looking over his outside shoulder, and it comes over his inside shoulder. But, you know, he got open. He made a good move. He had to catch that. I mean, that's on Terrell Owens.
3rd and 10 from the 27. Romo throws. Now Owens makes the catch. And that's a first down as he drops down. Fujita makes the tackle at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, sometimes you have to mix that in too. You know, they've been trying to go deep to him the whole time. You know, get him out here on Fred Thomas and do all that. And sometimes when you just play that stuff, and you're just playing out, that you know that you can take it out, you can take it in, you can take a hook very easily.
Romo has to hurry it up, but then they give it to Barber on a draw. And that goes nowhere. 2nd down and 10.
Scott Shanley on the tackle.
Yeah, I think that Sean Payton has done such a good job against Bill Parcells tonight that, you know, if you're going to get mad at someone, you kind of have to have a priority list, you know, and maybe you put yourself and your coaches first and then your players second and so on. I don't think you put it on the opposing coach. You're mad list.
2nd down and 10. Play fake. Romo buys time. And that is caught by Glenn up at the 49-yard line. And it'll be a first down.
Tell you one thing, these Saint defensive backs are really hitting. But I don't know if they're good defensive backs or not. I mean, that's been the thing. They've given up a lot of big plays this year, but they're sure playing very crisply tonight.
Jay Bellamy put that last hit on. We talked about Fred Thomas earlier, who've been having a great night. And then he got beat on that Owens touchdown on the deflection. But apart from that, you're right, John. They had done a masterful job.
And Mike McKenzie up on top playing very well.
Romo begins to stumble, and that will cost him a sack. Will Smith and Brian Young both take advantage of that.
Yeah, Brian Young has really done a good job of getting pressure up the middle, because then the ends, Charles Grant, Will Smith, they can keep containment. You see, they can stay upfield so that Romo can't get to the outside. You see, and then if you do that, then to go along with that, you need the pressure up the middle. And Brian Young has given him that pressure up the middle big time tonight against Tony Romo.
2nd and 18. Romo airing it out. Going for Owens again, and Owens had trouble finding the ball. Double covered by Thomas and Bullocks.
And this is what the Saints have done all night to Tony Romo, is they knew that they didn't want to let him outside, so they kept those ends up the field, made him stay in the pocket. You see, they had pressure from the outside, but even bigger than that is the interior pressure. So they can't step up, because if you just contain him on the outside, then he can step up or step to the outside. But if you contain him on the outside and get the pressure up the middle, there's no place for him to go.
And kudos to Gary Gibbs, the defensive coordinator who was on the Dallas staff with Peyton last year as the linebackers coach, former Oklahoma head coach. That's caught by Witten at the 50-yard line.
And Gary Gibbs knows Tony Romo very well, because when he was a linebackers coach for the Cowboys, Tony Romo would run the scout team. There's Gibbs right here. Tony Romo would run the scout team, so he was always getting his defense ready against Tony Romo. And he said Romo would do stuff, and he would make plays, and he'd run and would say, hey, they don't do that. Their quarterback doesn't do that. He said so he knew what kind of a playmaker Tony Romo was.
And prior to punt, drops the nose of the ball. They give him the reverse spin on it. Michael Lewis makes a fair catch at the 16. 11-11 to go in the fourth.
That was an awesome show.
Awesome.
Hey, would you mind?
No problem.
Me too. So, are you the bass player or the drummer?
I'm not in the band. I'm just here for the Bud Light. Whose pen? Johnny!
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Who's Todd Schishler?
Zoltar says, the answer is in the stars.
Looking for gift advice in all the wrong places? Go to gifts.com. Tell us about someone and we'll show you what they'll like and where to get it. Our gift gurus search top online stores to bring you the hottest gift ideas. Take the guessing out of gifting at gifts.com.
American Pie is back with an all-new movie.
You're a Stifler and a virgin?
This movie goes where no American Pie has gone before.
The Naked Mile is insane. From what I hear, I wouldn't know from personal experience.
Welcome to the Naked Mile.
It's the biggest college tradition of all.
What are you guys doing still dressed?
Get ready for a little competition.
Don't let their size fool you.
American Pie presents The Naked Mile unrated on DVD December 19th.
Monday on Today, attacked on an airplane. If it happens, there's just seconds to react.
We can't lose control of this cockpit.
See how pilots can fight back and protect you. An exclusive behind-the-scenes look on Today on NBC.
Jay Leno coming up this week. He'll have Naomi Watts. Toby McGuire will be there. Former President Jimmy Carter, Dakota Fanning, Ed Norton, Jamie Foxx. All new Tonight Show. I'm laughing. It's like word association. Ed Norton, Art Carney, Mike Karney. You tuned in late. A guy named Mike Karney tonight has been one of the great stars of the game with 3 touchdowns. The fullback, there he is.
And then when he wasn't scoring, John Carney was scoring.
Right.
Carney-filled evening. But I'm really impressed with Sean Payton. I mean, I've been impressed with him for a long time. I thought he was, a good young coach, and I was never sure if he was ready to be a head coach. But he went down there. He took a tough situation. He said he had to change the environment. He changed the environment. The players have bought into it. But I think a big part of that was Drew Brees.
2nd and 7. Brees taking the play clock all the way down. They'll begin to eat up the clock. Talked about the play calling tonight from Payton. And you go back to that 4th and 1 early on in the reverse. McAllister hands it off to Devery Henderson. And then Carney with 3 touchdowns, hadn't scored in a 43-game career coming in. Then you had the onside kick with an 18-point lead. And Henderson pays that one off with a touchdown. And it's just been a tremendous night for the Saints offense, which comes in number 1 in the league.
You're right. I think they got the Dallas Cowboy defense back in their heels, and the Cowboy defense never got off their heels.
Here's the Deuce picking up a 1st down on a 3rd and 5. Looking at Sean Payton. Keep in mind, after the 03 season, he came very close to winding up as the Raiders head coach. In fact, so close he was thinking about going out and buying some silver and black clothing.
A sport coat.
Right, but they went with Norv Turner. He came back here. Then last year, Green Bay interviewed him. After Mike Sherman was fired, he had a formal interview in Green Bay. New Orleans wanted him. And as he's interviewing with New Orleans, he hears from Marv Levy in Buffalo, because they're looking for a coach at that point. And Marv wants to talk to him if New Orleans doesn't work out.
And in the meantime, Green Bay had called him back and told him he didn't have that job.
And that's a false start right here. And that's when he's in New Orleans. He's ready to go out to dinner.
86 offense, 5 yards. It's 1st down.
John Owens ready to go out to dinner with Mickey Loomis. And he's thinking, am I in play in Green Bay? What's going to happen down here? He gets the call. He's not in play any longer in Green Bay. They go to dinner, and before he can even go to Buffalo, he never shuffles off.
And that's big. I mean, there's only 32 of these jobs, and he's a young coach, and he wanted one of them, and he took a difficult situation. A lot of times, your first coaching job is your first chance as a head coach has to be a difficult situation, or it wouldn't be available.
McAllister on 1st and 15. Payton, a little bit like John Gruden, Eagles quarterback coach in the late 90s. Then he goes to the Giants as the quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. Jim Fossil-Rain comes here under Parcells, listed as the quarterback coach and the passing game coordinator, because they really don't have, in effect, what you call an offensive coordinator, a matter of semantics. And on to New Orleans.
And he's associated with Bill Parcells a lot more than just 3 years. I mean, you hear stories about Sean Payton and Bill Parcells, and you think that, that he'd been a protege of Bill Parcells forever. And they were really only together 3 years.
And this is Deuce up to the 29-yard line. Well, it's maybe the biggest surprise in the league. Talking about the Saints, certainly a great feel-good story considering everything that's happened to that devastated region. Now this team is really for real. They're 7 minutes away from being the number 2 seed in the NFC, going to 9-4, and thoroughly dismantling a Dallas Cowboy team that a lot of people thought was the best team in the NFC.
Right, coming in, they were the best team, and then if they beat the Cowboys, then you have to think that they're the best or one of the best. And look at this.
And that's McAllister on the 3rd down, and behind a Mike Karney block to the 34-yard line, and that's your Deuce Boo combination.
And Mike Karney has played a heck of a game tonight. I mean, this is what you expect of him, this type of thing. But that line has done a good job of blocking. It looks like there's a little give up in the Cowboys. I mean, this is where you want to get guys, and they don't look like they're quite as anxious to play as the Saints are right now. And that's a great position to be in, but you have to give credit again to this Saint offensive line. I mean, they have taken these guys and they have beaten this defense down and whipped them.
That's a 35-yard gain. Now it's Bush. Remember him? Gain of 5. Andrea.
Well, between Deuce and between Reggie, it's interesting that it was only 6 years ago that McAllister was in Bush's position. He was the highly touted first-round pick as the rookie, and the veteran on the team was Ricky Williams. Yeah, remember him? Well, Deuce told me Ricky didn't help him a lot, and he said this was his team. In fact, he said that Ricky Williams belittled Deuce as a player in front of the team. He never forgot that. So McAllister said that this was one reason that he wanted to welcome Reggie Bush as much as possible.
And McAllister, 19 carries, 105 yards.
I don't know anyone that would want to belittle Reggie Bush anyway.
No, that is a Reggie chant here.
I don't think they draw a very big crowd.
No. Feels like the Superdome at the moment. Here's Bush's touchdown. McAllister, there he is on the sideline.
Well, I think that, that he knows that there's plenty there for both of us. That, the running back position and the way this Saint offense is, it's not just going to be one back. And I think Sean Payton kind of assured Deuce McAllister of that, that you're going to get the ball. I mean, you're going to get the ball 20 times. You're still going to be, the guy that's going to carry it. Reggie Bush is going to get the ball a lot too, but in different ways.
Deuce again with that second effort, he picks up the first down. He was stopped initially by Ware and then plunges forward. Well, now he knows for sure that he's a big part of the offense.
Now, you don't see this a lot inside. Watch Deuce McAllister here on DeMarcus Ware. He's just going to stiff arm him right there. You don't see a lot of stiff arms on inside running. I mean, usually a stiff arm is saved for being out towards the sidelines.
Mentioned now he knows, as opposed to, when the coach sits you down after they draft Reggie Bush and says, I'm going to make you part of the offense. Yeah, you hope it's true, but there has to be a little skepticism. And he's coming back off major knee surgery. 21st carry of the night. John, the other thing we haven't talked about with the Saints tonight, you have a 53-man roster in the league. They have 34 guys who weren't there last year. And when we did the Saints at the end of last season, I'd never seen a more, downtrodden, and you understood it. There was no home. As you take a look at what their stars have done tonight, they were on the road, and there were some of the numbers for the three, I guess, mega stars right now for the Saints.
Yeah, Drew Brees has 5 TDs, and Deuce McAllister getting 21 carries. Those are the types of things Sean Payton talked about. And getting the ball to this guy as much as you get isn't bad either.
Reggie Bush inside the 10, and he'll step out at the 4. It'll be first down and goal. But I know, John, you and I had talked about it. We had never seen a more downtrodden group than the Saints were against Atlanta when we did them on a Monday night in December last year. And to think, and at that time they didn't even know if they were going back to New Orleans. And of course, Jim Haslett pays the price. Aaron Brooks, they had to let him go. He's in Oakland. You revamp the team. You bring in Peyton. You bring in 2/3 of the roster, and now you're 9-4. And people are going, whoa.
Yeah, and the big guy again is still Drew Brees. I mean, I think that gave him credibility and and a great quarterback, and then good coaching, because today with free agency and as many changes as you talked about, you not only have to coach well, but you have to coach quickly.
And this is interesting. Now the student is saying to the teacher, I'm just going to kneel down here. I'm going to take some time off the clock. I can try to score a touchdown, but we're just going to go into a kneel-down mode, and I'm not going to embarrass you.
Well, and Bill Parcells is thinking, I don't need that. I've been in this league too long, and you don't have to feel sorry for me. I will have my day, and then maybe at the end as a kicker, how about that onside kick?
Yep.
I still think that this is a trend that we see more and more, Al, is the opponent team, and maybe now it's just Saint fans in here.
Well, we started the night by saying, how about dem Cowboys is the new rallying cry once again in Dallas. And we're going to end the night with that old refrain from New Orleans. Who dat gonna beat them Saints? 42-17, New Orleans.
At UBS, financial solutions come from listening very carefully to what our clients say, but even more carefully to what they don't say. You could call it the commitment to understand. We just call it you and us. You and us, UBS.
There she goes, one that got away. You see the way she was looking at me? You're not going to believe this one. Let me take you back to what happened.
Why do I care? I mean, he's a loser.
I can't believe I won. I can't believe it. I didn't mean to spill coffee. It was hot. How could I blow that?
It's never enough.
Yeah! Sorry, I shouldn't have done that.
I'm sorry. I'm not mad at you.
Thank you. I'm starving. You want to go, get some Chinese or something like that?
Some people have expressed outrage.
Is that Santa's reindeer?
Over a Christmas movie that is this violent, this disturbing, and this raw. Our answer is, you haven't seen anything yet. Christmas. Rated R. Everywhere Christmas Day.
Now that Scrubs is back on Thursdays,
I'm home!
Every new episode makes us say... Woo! And Thursday, Turk and Carla's new family offers a tasty treat.
Are you hungry, sweetie?
I could eat. All new Scrubs, Thursday on NBC.
On Tuesday night, don't miss a new Friday Night Lights right here on NBC. And there's a man who knows all about Friday Night Lights growing up in Austin, Texas. Drew Brees won a state championship in the stadium 10 years ago. And he's having just a great night. It's one of those delicious nights if you're a New Orleans Saint.
Yeah, and like we were talking about the Saints this year, they come in here at 8-4. They're a feel-good story. Maybe they'll be a playoff team. Then they come out of this game. It's still a feel-good story, as you say, but maybe they're the top team in the NFC right now.
Well, you look at the Chicago Bears, who have the best record, but it's been all defense for them. They're 10-2. They play the Rams in St. Louis tomorrow night. They're your division leaders, and that's going to go to 9-4 for New Orleans. So at the moment, they're going to be the number 2 seed. Seattle loses today. Dallas will drop to 4. Seattle would be 3. And they won't even kick a field goal here. They're just going to kneel down and give Dallas the ball with 1:13 remaining in the fourth quarter. Oh, sweetest bath he ever had.
Who is on your list?
My mother?
Does she like junk mail?
No.
Neither does this thing.
Ooh, that really shreds.
The Staples Mail-Made Shredder fits on your kitchen counter, only from the Department of Unexpected Gifts.
Mr. Nibbles thinks you should get your wife a laptop.
He's a reindeer. What does he know about laptops?
Never question Mr. Nibbles.
Get a Lenovo laptop, just $499.99 at the Department of Unexpected Gifts. Staples.
Introducing Wendy's Double Melt. In the middle, there's pepper jack, cheddar sauce, bacon, and jalapenos. With every double melt, receive $1 on a gift card. For flavor where it counts, do what tastes right.
What is it you want, Mary? You want the moon? Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, Mary.
Kay always has the latest Bulova styles, so you can be assured that you'll absolutely love it.
Why don't you kiss her instead of talking at her, dear?
Every kiss begins with Kay.
Master, how do I find enlightenment?
Easy. Yellow Book.
Yellow Book?
We are all searching for something. A new car, a reliable plumber, a comfortable leather sofa. The more choices one has, the easier the quest.
You're saying Yellow Book is the key to it all?
The path to enlightenment starts with Yellow Book. To find the answer, one must look inside.
Yellow Book, not the other book. 1-800-YB-YELLOW.
Monday, start making plans, because tomorrow doesn't recognize phrases like working overtime, especially when Chicago faces St. Louis on ESPN Monday Night Football as the Bears battle the Rams at 8:30.
Post-game show coming up, a rock star of the game, highlights and interviews from Irving, and now with New Orleans opting to take a knee, Dallas will do the same. And, you know, John, I was thinking about when Bill Parcells was talking about Tony Romo and put the anointing oil away. I don't think you put the anointing oil, just it kind of travels from city to city. Rex Grossman had the anointing oil in September. And then Tony Romo had the anointing oil as you look at Cowboy owner Jerry Jones. And I think the anointing oil just like it kind of moves around. Maybe Drew Brees has the anointing oil right now.
Yeah, but Drew Brees has played. I mean, the other guys are young, and any quarterback who they're going to have bumps in the road. And, you know, tonight was a bump in the road for Tony Romo.
And for Brees, even though he's had those 2 good years, I think people were always a little skeptical. And now they realize what he is. Sean Payton, and you can see Bill Parcells saying, good job.
And I would echo that. I think Sean Payton did a heck of a job. I think this guy here did a heck of a job.
I would put about 4 exclamation points at the end of good job. Meanwhile, Brees 26 out of 38 for 384. The Cowboys go to Atlanta next week. Saints are home in the Dome against the Washington Redskins. Saints win it 42-17. Our postgame show coming right up.
Can you identify 12 total strangers? It's the ultimate game of who's who.
Identity.
A week-long event begins 1 week from Monday on NBC.
K&G's 2 Suits for $150 event is on. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 2 selected men's suits for just $150. That's less than the price of 1 at a department store. K&G Fashion Superstore. For men, for women, for less.
Market Fresh Reuben on marble rye bread or the new rye wrap with corned beef, melted Swiss, Thousand Island dressing, and sauerkraut. Also try our loaded potato bites with Cool Ranch sour cream sauce. They'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
For Rico and Savin copiers, faxes, and printers customized to your company's network,
Just reserve for duplicator sales and service.
589-5555.
The annual Chevy Red Tag event is back at the Coyle Chevrolet Superstore in Clarksville. The price on the tag is the price you'll pay. See some red, save some green on every vehicle on the lot.
The Wave 3 troubleshooter. She does more than just chase people down.
She's getting results.
Investigating the problem and getting results. Only on Wave 3 News.
K&G's 2 Suits for $150 event is on. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 2 selected men's suits for just $150. That's less than the price of 1 at a department store. K&G Fashion Superstore. For men, for women, for less.
Tracking storms, getting results. That's Wave 3 News.
About only Saints fans in the building. That "Who Dat" chant went up. They are 9-4 with a 42-17 win. But the night started out as if it was going to be a Dallas night because you had a 77-yard run by Julius Jones, and just like that, it was 7-0 Cowboys. But then came the onslaught, and it began, of all things, with a Mike Karney run. First touchdown of his career. Then, before the second period was over, the second touchdown of Carney's career on that pass. They led 21-7. Then it was 21-10. Then Reggie Bush took this swing pass and went 61 yards for a touchdown to make it 28-10. It looked like they had it safely tucked away, but then on a 4th down play, Thomas couldn't make the interception. The deflection goes into the hands of Owens to make it 28-17, but then an onside kick, a Carney touchdown, his 3rd of the night, and a romp for Reggie Bush and the...
I work for the future.
I work to create style. I work because I care.
I work for my family.
Sometimes a job is a job. Sometimes it's a career. When it's right, it's a passion. Whoever you are, whatever you want to do, Monster has the tools to find the right match to take you there. Post your resume on Monster today and find the job that works for you.
Monster works for me.
It's the most
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
Wow gifts create wow responses. Our pledge is to help you wower with computers powered by the world's best dual-core processors, the Intel Core 2 Duo, letting her do more at once, faster.
And save on computers featuring Intel processors, now at Best Buy.
Saints ran up 536 yards tonight, most ever allowed by a Bill Parcells coach team in a game that didn't go into overtime. Due in good measure to Drew Brees, Reggie Bush and company. Drew and Reggie with Andrea Kramer.
You may say that you like the heavy lifting of being a running back, but boy, it's hard to beat you as an all-purpose threat. Tell me about the 61-yard screen pass.
It was just a great play. Something that we've been working on in practice, and something we saw on film, and something we felt like we could exploit, and we use it to our advantage. Drew did a great job of getting me the ball, and coaches called great plays.
What were you able to exploit in their defense? You kept them on their heels all night.
This man right here, this is the answer right here. He's a great quarterback, man, and he just did a great job at putting the ball in places, where they couldn't get to it, giving our receivers a chance to make plays, and the rest is history.
All right, Reggie, thank you very much. Now, Drew, you must love Texas Stadium because last time you were here in 1996, you won the Texas State Championship and put up 55. What is it that has enabled you to have 5 touchdowns against a very tough Dallas defense?
Coming into each game, you just don't know how it's going to play out. But I'm more happy that our fullback got 3 touchdowns today, and I just happened to throw him 2 of them. But, I think it was just a great all-around team effort. Obviously, this game meant a lot to us for these NFC standings, but not only that, but Coach Payton coming back here, and I know it meant a lot to him, and we wanted to win it for him.
Very aggressive play calling by Sean Payton, maybe exemplified best by the 4th and 1 call. What's going through your mind when he calls a reverse in short yardage like that?
Well, he told us on Wednesday that was going to be the call in a critical situation on 4th and 1. So, we hear that stuff all the time, and we know that he's going to live up to it. He's going to call it, and obviously he expects us to execute it, and we did, and obviously it was a big play in the game.
You mentioned Mike Karney before, your fullback, an all-around team effort, but what about the performance of your defense in being able to corral Tony Romo?
I thought they did a phenomenal job. They got us a turnover that resulted in a touchdown in that second quarter, and I just felt like we were really feeding off one another. They'd get them 3 and out, we get the ball, drive down, score a touchdown. I think the momentum just stayed with us, and that's what it's all about.
I don't know if the audience can hear the crowd yelling still for your team. Yeah. To what extent, really, are the Saints almost becoming America's team, the other America's team?
Well, I think this is amazing, that you'd come to a really storied place like Dallas and play the Cowboys and win the way we did, and yet our fans are still here yelling "Who dat" and "Go Saints" and all those things. So that's awesome. We got great fans, and obviously it means a lot to them too.
All right, Drew, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So there it is, up to the minute now. Chicago plays tomorrow night, and they can clinch a bye if they beat the Rams. They're 10-2. Saints would be the 2nd seed at the moment. Seattle would be 3rd. Dallas would be 4th at 8-5. Final score again, 42-17. The New Orleans Saints defeat the Dallas Cowboys. Next week, we go to San Diego, and that means LaDainian Tomlinson, Phillip Rivers and company against Larry Johnson. And the Kansas City Chiefs football night in America begins at 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific time. Until then, Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrew Kramer, our entire NBC Sports crew saying goodnight from Irving, Texas.
NBC Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.
This week, Jay's all new with Jimmy Carter, Edward Norton, Jamie Foxx, plus headlines.
MSI owner denies lying, but admits not telling truth.
This week.
Upon first glance, this would appear to be an Oreo Blizzard from Dairy Queen. But look closer, and you'll see that it's actually an original DQ chicken strip basket. Look closer still, and you'll see that it comes with fries, Texas toast, and country gravy. Great treats and great food. At DQ, there's more than one way to treat yourself when you look a little closer. And finish off with a DQ Blizzard of the Month.
If all the flat panel TVs that H.H. Gregg has in stock were set side by side, you'd have to run the length of a football field to see them all. Or you could run into H.H. Gregg. More flat panel TVs, better prices. H.H. Gregg. Go team.
Football's exciting, but he didn't have to pass out. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry.
Tracking storms, getting results. That's Wave 3 News. Investigating the problem, getting results. This is Wave 3 News.
Now on Wave 3 News, one Louisville man shares his connection to the new movie We Are Marshall and how a twist of fate kept him off the plane that went down, killing the entire football team. Also, it's almost crunch time when it comes to holiday shopping, but don't worry, experts say it may pay to procrastinate. And one local church honors the memory of Louisville's 48 murder victims, why they hope their symbolic tribute will help stop the city's violence. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Flack in tonight for Janelle McDonald. The holiday shopping season is in full swing, but are people buying? The nation's retailers are staying positive, but the numbers show some shoppers are waiting until late in the season to hit the stores, hoping for last-minute bargains.
Local malls thick with people again Sunday. Lines seemingly good news for the nation's retailers.
Well, they're long, so people are obviously spending money.
Or could they just be window shopping? The latest numbers from the National Retail Federation show sales only up a modest 5% over last year.
I don't see a whole lot of bags being purchased, carried around by people.
Experts say many shoppers are waiting until late in the season to buy, hoping for last-minute deals. And the nation's retailers are already accommodating, offering sales on everything from electronics to toys to draw people in. Donald Hamilton has seen things picking up.
Most people are buying now because it's getting pretty late, so I guess they're getting into the crunch time.
Analysts say discounts being offered at most stores were planned, a sign retailers aren't panicking. Still, merchants are under pressure to make their holiday sales goals after seeing mixed results in November. To succeed, they will need more people like Quentin Coffey.
Bought some stuff I hadn't planned on buying, so yeah.
A serious holiday shopper at a time when stores need them the most.
Taking a bite out of some of those in-store sales, online retail. It is projected 2006 online holiday sales will increase 18% over last year, reaching $32 billion nationwide. Well, as they were checking off their to-do list today, many shoppers remembered to adopt an angel tree angel on the final day of the program. Today alone, more than 1,000 angels in need were selected from area malls. Salvation Army officials plan to release a final angel update tomorrow. And don't worry, if you still want to help, you'll have the opportunity on Tuesday as Wave 3 teams up with the Salvation Army for Angel-a-thon, making sure every child gets the holiday they deserve.
People will be able to call in and make their donations. We use those funds to make sure we get enough supplies, toys and clothing for the children.
If you have gifts you didn't return to your Angel Tree location, you can still drop off your items. You're going to need to do that at the Salvation Army Christmas Center located at 6709 Preston Highway, and you need to do that by this Thursday, December 14th. Well, it looks like a warm-up is in store for us as we head into the work week. It was a pretty nice day out there today. Andy Weingarten in tonight with the details. Andy?
Yeah, it was. It turned out to be a nice day around here, even though we had the cloud cover a little thicker than we thought. We got into the 50s, which is a far cry from where we have been. And the temperatures later on tonight will be a far cry from where they have been the last several nights. I don't even think we're going to get below freezing. As you get out and about tomorrow morning, here's what you can expect. Partly cloudy skies. light winds, and it looks like temperatures right around 35 degrees or so. That's what we're thinking for early in the morning, and a nice week for temperatures coming up ahead. We'll talk about that. We'll also give you the updated Angel Tree numbers. That's coming up in full weather in just a few minutes. Eric?
All right, thanks, Andy. Well, some holiday shoppers in the St. Louis area got quite a shock this afternoon. The weight of some snow and ice on the roof broke a skylight at the Chesterfield Mall, sending glass and debris down onto people eating in the food court. 5 people were hurt in the accident and were treated for minor injuries. Well, this year there have been 48 murders here in Louisville, and one church honored each victim's memory today with a special tribute. Highland Baptist Church members placed a white cross on the lawn to represent each person lost this year. It's something the church has done for the past 10 years. Organizers want to remind the community violence can happen anywhere to anyone.
It transcends ethnicity, neighborhoods, economic income. Violence can strike anywhere at any time.
The crosses will stay on the front lawn of the church until the first week in January. Illinois Senator Barack Obama got a lot of people talking about a presidential bid this weekend with a trip to New Hampshire. After shaking hands and signing copies of his best-selling book, Obama spoke at a Democratic Party bash in Manchester.
New Hampshire, America's ready to turn the page. America is ready for a new set of challenges. This is our time. A new generation that is preparing to lead you.
Obama has said he is thinking about running for the White House, but says he has not made a final decision yet. Indiana Senator Evan Bayh also spent time in New Hampshire this weekend. Last week, Bayh filed papers to form a presidential exploratory committee. During his New Hampshire visit, he spoke at a reception in Manchester and met with voters at homes of 2 state senators. Bayh says reducing carbon dioxide emissions and increasing American energy independence would be 2 top priorities if he were elected president. Bayh has promoted himself as a moderate Democrat who can work with Republicans. The death of former Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet today had thousands filling the streets on the verge of rioting. While some wept outside the hospital where he died, thousands took to the streets to celebrate. Police used water cannons and tear gas to keep the people from getting too close to the presidential palace. Some responded by throwing rocks at the officers. Pinochet was a controversial figure in Chile. During his 17 years in power, an estimated 3,000 people were killed and another 30,000 tortured. Pinochet died after suffering a heart attack last week. He was 91 years old. Outgoing Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld made a final surprise visit to Iraq this weekend. During the trip, he restated his faith in the troops and the mission at hand. Meanwhile, here at home, the heads of the Iraq Study Group are defending their war plan. It is under attack from conservatives, and Iraq's president called its recommendations dangerous.
Nothing we do can absolutely guarantee success. And these people who are criticizing, frankly, have not come forward with their proposal.
Though the president has final say over the war in Iraq, members of Congress are quick to point out that they control the money needed to fight it. Well, it is one of the most tragic events in sports history, the fiery 1970 plane crash in West Virginia that killed the Marshall football team, its coaches, and several fans. In all, 75 people died in that crash. It was a difficult time for the school and the town of Huntington as they struggled with the decision whether or not to keep the football program going. In 2 weeks, the movie We Are Marshall hits theaters nationwide, telling that story. Wave 3's Connie Leonard spoke with one local man who will attend the movie premiere. He was part of the team and should have been on that plane.
They were looking for big things that year.
With a talented team in 1970, it was an exciting time for Marshall football. Don Ackerman, a center for Louisville's Bishop David, was on a full scholarship for the Thundering Herd.
That Friday morning at breakfast is Friday the 13th in 1970.
Back then, freshmen didn't play with the varsity team, but Don and a teammate were being rewarded for their effort and were offered a seat on the team charter for the East Carolina game.
My bag was packed. I had my coat and towel that morning.
But at the last minute, Coach Rick Tolley gave Don the bad news. One of the team doctors and his wife decided to make the flight.
And that this charter flight only had 75 seats and that we would be bumped. But he said, you know, keep your chins up. We'll make it up to you.
The next night, a bulletin came over the airwaves.
Where the plane went down, investigators were picking
And the
their
news person confirmed that it was the Marshall team coming back from East Carolina University.
Don headed for the airport.
The landing gear was down and the plane hit the first mountaintop coming in.
In the pouring rain, Don had the grueling task of helping identify the players by their jewelry. The National Guard hangar became a morgue for his coaches and friends.
They're bringing the body bags in. It was pretty upsetting. But
to this day, the former player wonders why he was spared.
It had to be fate because, I was already picked to go. And it didn't work out.
We are Marshall! Almost home.
36 years later, Don and his wife Becky will be guests for the premiere of We Are Marshall.
We're very proud of Marshall, and they've really come a long way.
The movie picks up after the crash, telling the story of the coaches, remaining team, and the town determined to keep the football program going.
We said, what better way
winning is everything
to honor, our teammates.
The movie focuses on how difficult it was to move on, emotionally and physically.
No one counted on us to win a game, but the very first home game, the place was packed.
Oliver lines him up at the 48-yard line. He's got Aaron Smith for a first down at the 37, and the crowd is starting to believe.
They only had 2 victories that year, but it didn't matter. They were on the field to give it their all.
And Gardner's in. He scores. Marshall wins 15-13.
One day we're going to be like every other team, where winning is everything.
The special premiere will reunite Don with his old friends.
I can't wait. It's going to be a roller coaster, probably emotional ride, but I think it'll be worth it.
Connie Leonard, Wave 3 News.
The Ackermans will be in West Virginia next week. On Monday, they'll take new team pictures with all the players on the team, and on Tuesday, they'll watch the movie with the family members at the premiere. A gala will follow with all the stars of the film, including Matthew McConaughey and Matthew Fox. We'll still ahead here on Wave 3, a place that usually covers the news, made news this morning, how a car ended up inside a TV station. And later, tuba players take over Rockefeller Center in the Big Apple.
Sure Rallies has 2 drive-thrus, but make sure you join us at the right side drive-thru for great deals like our big and juicy cheddar double cheddar burger, double beef, double cheese, 2 for $3.
Don't listen to those guys. The best 2 for $3 cheeseburgers are here on the left side drive-thru.
You gotta eat our cheddar double cheddar burger, double beef, double cheese, 2 for $3.
Granted, that may seem the same as their offer, but ours comes with salsa music.
Salsa music not available at all left side locations.
K&G's 2 Suits for $150 event is on. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 2 selected men's suits for just $150. That's less than the price of 1 at a department store. K&G Fashion Superstore. For men, for women, for less.
These cows are on a mission to deliver Kraft American singles with double the calcium of many other American slices plus vitamin D. And that mild, creamy taste no kid can resist. Kraft singles. Herds of calcium.
Joy. Joyful. Corbel, just one of over 100 champagnes and sparkling wines at Liquor Barn, Springhurst, Hurstbourne, and Fern Valley.
Cheesecake Bites, new at Sonic. Creamy bites of cheesecake covered in a golden graham cracker crust and served with a strawberry dipping sauce. Sonic's Cheesecake Bites. Give a reloadable My Sonic card today. It's not just good, it's Sonic good. Half-price drinks. Sonic's got them, others don't. Every Monday through Friday from 2 to 5 p.m., all Sonic's fountain drinks and slushes are half price. Happy Hour at Sonic, featuring half-price drinks. It's not just good, it's Sonic good.
K&G's 2 suits for $150 event is on. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 2 selected men's suits for just $150. That's less than the price of one at a department store. K&G Fashion Superstore. For men, for women, for less.
Well, here's something you don't see every day. A TV station in Orlando, Florida became part of some breaking news this morning when a car drove into their building. It happened at the NBC affiliate in the call letters there are WESH. Police say the man in the car had head injuries but was going to be okay. Luckily, no one else was hurt in the accident. I guess he was driving alone. I've heard about wanting your 15 minutes of fame, but that's kind of going a bit extreme.
It's a little much.
To get a little news coverage.
Well, I hope everybody was okay. I hope the building was okay.
I think they were. Yeah. Well, I don't. The building. We're not too worried about the building.
No, we're more concerned about
the people. Yeah,
absolutely.
Got some good weather for us, don't you?
We do. We do. Not as nice as what they have in Florida, I'm sure, but not bad.
It's too humid down there anyway.
Well, not in December. December's not bad.
It's humid all the time in Florida.
Fair enough. All right, let's check things out. First of all, we promised you the updated numbers, and here they are. I think we will get a final tally in the morning, but this was what was sent to us this evening, and we did. I believe we adopted an extra 1,055 angels during the business hours today, so we're up to almost 14,750. We've got another 2,960 to go, and of course we will be having the Angel Tree Telethon here on Wave 3 on Tuesday, and we'll hopefully be able to adopt all of the remaining angels. At least we're hoping so anyway. All right, we're in the low 40s. We've cooled off a bit here this evening. Southeast winds are very light. Humidity is very low at 34%, so this dry air should be in place for another, I'd say 18 hours or so. You'll notice an increase in the moisture, though, it looks like tomorrow evening, but right now, no problems. In fact, we are green-lighted for the balance of the night and into tomorrow. Here are the highs today. We got into the mid-50s here in Louisville, and we'll probably do a little better than that on your Monday, get into the mid, if not upper.